I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Mark Nelson, Richie Joplin on the front row. Last week's winner, Jeff Oakes. Next to Daryl Klotz on the second row. Ron Pontgeter, Gerald Thanos Poole on the third row. Gil Guant, Kevin Bruner on the fourth row. Tim St. Jean and Derek Schilling round out your top 10. Mike Burgess starts in 11th. Next to Kevin Hayes in 12th. And Albie Hewins rounds out the 13-car field here tonight. "13 drivers taking to the track. Both drivers on the front row, very accomplished road racers and endurance racers, Mark Nelson and Richie Joplin. But last week, Jeff Oakes came out here and showed us what he has. Who will it be tonight? Pace car is in. Out of the horseshoe they come to stack back up. Through the left-hand kink, and Barney waves the green flag there, down and away at Sonoma. We expect it to go green flag all the way tonight. Keep a close eye on that 30 car. The winner last week at Road America, excuse me. Kevin Bruner picking up a spot here early, up into 7th. Closing in on Gerald Poole. Hey, good evening, Jared Heasley. Down through that infield section, not a part of this track that would normally run in officials. Richie Joplin, Jeff Oakes still right on Mark's bumper. Daryl Klotz, Rod Pontgeter, and Gerald Poole not far behind. Kevin Bruner, Gil Guant, Derek Schilling, and Tim St. Jean round out the top 10. No change in 11th, Mike Burgess, Kevin Hayes in 12th, and Albie Hewins in 13th. Mark leads them down into the horseshoe to complete lap number 1. Out of the horseshoe through the kink, and the Mark Nelson leads the lap 1. Richie Joplin still sitting in 2nd. Jeff Oakes currently in 3rd, has not made an attack yet. But you gotta know, Oakes is biding his time. He is a very, very fast road course racer. Points leader Tim St. Jean has had a moment, gone off track, no loss of position though. Daryl Klotz holding on to 4th. Rod Pontgeter currently in 5th. Gerald Poole in 6th. Then a bit of a gap back to Kevin Bruner in 7th. Gil Guac in 8th, Derek Schilling in 9th. Both drivers were quite fast last week at Road America. Could we see those two start charging forward? Oh my goodness! Gil Guac looked like he had a problem trying to get into the horseshoe. And collected Kevin Bruder in the process. Let's take a look. Looking down from the chopper. Oh, looks like Gil may have just locked the brakes up. Gets into Bruner and just knocks that rear panel off. Meanwhile, one of the drivers just shoots off. We saw that a lot when Nowski was here, but all of them begin rolling again. That was Kevin Hayes that had a problem getting the power down out of the horseshoe. We saw a lot of that here when Nowski was here just a few weeks ago. As we mentioned during the pre-race, the horseshoe collected a lot of drivers. Albie Hewins has had a problem back behind. Albie coming down, looks like through the S's, the back just steps out. Looks like he already had some left side damage on the car. Could be affecting the handling on that car. Mark Nelson has a 1 second lead over Richie Joplin. They have pulled away from Jeff Oakes. This is a big surprise. Oakes about 2.4 seconds back at the moment. Darrell Klotz back in 4th. Rod Poggeter in 5th. Gerald Poole in 6th. Derek Schilling up now to 7th after coming through the chaos clean. Tim St. Jean, the points leader, currently in 8th. Tim doing exactly what he needs to do to keep his points lead. He is keeping Bruner in his mirror. Kevin Bruner, after that incident, has fallen all the way to 11th. Gil Guac into 10th. Richie is starting to close the gap just a little more. And Jeff Oakes continues to fall back. Oakes now over 4 seconds behind Mark and Richie. He has pulled away from 4th place Daryl Klotz by over 6 seconds, and Rod Podgeter closing in on Klotz. Podgeter looked awfully fast at Road America. No slouch on the road courses for him. Derek Schilling has had a problem and lost several positions. Derek coming over the hill, just gets a little bit of the sand. The car just gets light right there. The back end steps out. He slides off into the dirt. And as we mentioned, about 4 cars drive by. Albie Ewens has taken his car into pit road. Kevin Bruner went off track back behind. Managed to maintain his position for now. Looked like Schilling went off in the dirt as well. Kevin Hayes is now caught up to Kevin Bruner. Bruner did need to keep Richie Joplin in his mirror tonight. That is not the case. He has to hope he makes up a lot of ground on pit road. Richie came in tonight 3rd in points, just 2 points behind Bruner. Mike Burgess, Gil Guac have both had issues. Guac has gone to pit road. Let's see what happened. Here's Mike Burgess. Looks like coming through the S's. Just overshoots that corner. So easy to do, and Gil Guac had nowhere to go. Looking down from the blimp, Guac comes through that turn perfectly fine. Keeps his foot in it. Move to the right. Gil moved as far right as he possibly could. Just kept moving, but wasn't enough. Bruner, Hayes, and Schilling barely make it through, and Guac appears to have lost a wheel. Mark Nelson in the lead has started pulling away. 1 1/4 seconds. Jeff Oakes back in 3rd after that dominant run last week. Back in 3rd, 8.5 seconds behind the top 2. Jeff Oaks did get locked into the playoffs during that first 8-week season. He is back 10th in points coming into this week after picking up 3 spots last week. Mark Nelson picked up 4 spots up to 11th. I suspect both drivers are going to make up even more ground tonight. Points leader Tim St. Jean up to 7th place. Gil Guanc is officially out of the race. Albie Hewen still on pit road, also likely out of the race. Derek Schilling, who we saw have problems earlier on, is starting to make up a little bit of ground as going by Kevin Bruner to take 8th. And as we mentioned, Tim St. Jean now up into 7th. But Tim is quite a ways behind 6th place Gerald Thanos Poole. Thanos is about 6.4 seconds back from Rod Potgieter in 5th, but he is closing the gap on Potgieter. Ooh! Rod gets a little squirrely getting on the power. Drivers talked a lot in pre-race about tire wear. The track temperature has come down quite a bit from practice. It was 108 degrees at the start of practice, now down to 93. That will definitely help their tires last a bit longer and give them a lot more grip. Richie Joplin has caught back up to the leader, the Mark Nelson. Don't forget, later tonight, right after the broadcast, the Unicorn will be behind the wheel trucking in Nebraska tonight as the new Nebraska DLC for American Truck Sim released today. Derek Schilling continuing his march forward. He has just taken 7th from points leader Tim St. Jean. Schilling came into tonight 7th in points, 2 points behind James Lacey. Lacey is not here tonight. Nor is Jess Chambers. Derek Schilling could very well get up there and put himself in position to be in the playoffs. Gerald Poole, who's currently 4th in points, is already locked into the playoffs. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead is still very tight. Mark Nelson, Richie Joplin fairly evenly matched here. And let's ride along. Oh, Jared, I 100% agree with the infield version of this track. This is exceptionally hard. It's right on the nose of Richie Joplin. This is from his nose cam. Comes over the top of the hill. Normally they'd go almost down to that tire wall, but they cut in here to add the extra infield section. And then, as we talked about in pre-race, you come over that section, over that mound, into the downhill left-hander, but that rise can really upset the car and cause some major problems. Derek Schilling has had a problem back behind. He's lost a ton of ground. Coming out of the horseshoe on the power, the car started bobbling and then just broke loose coming through that kink. He hits the inside wall. He gets the car going again. Gets the car rolling. You see him wiggling the tires, trying to... It looks like something was wrong with the car, and he towed to pit road. Mike Burgess has come to pit road. This will be, I do believe, a tire change. He had a couple of off tracks, likely looking for some new tires and more grip. Kevin Brunner also coming to pit road early. They should have enough fuel to make it at least to halfway, likely a lap or two beyond the halfway point. As we mentioned, Mark Nelson, Richie Joplin, very evenly matched. That pit stop they make could be a deciding factor here tonight. Who gets in and out of pit road quicker? Rod Potgieter back in fifth, was closing in on Darrell Klotz, has now lost some ground. Gerald Poole was in sixth, was closing in on Potgieter, now holding about 6.8 seconds back. Tim St. Jean now up to seventh, and quietly Kevin Hayes is now up 4 spots into 8th, the biggest mover so far. Kevin has just kept consistent laps and stayed out of trouble. Kevin has had one issue tonight. He got on the power a little too hard. Coming out of the horseshoe, slipped back into it. Quickly got the car straightened out, took off again. Has not had any other problems. And with some of these drivers taking early pit stops, the leaders may end up in lap traffic before they complete their stops. As Mark Nelson has Kevin Bruner just ahead. Mike Burgess has had a problem back behind. Remember, Mike had just completed his stop, so on cold tires. Oh! Overshoots that turn, shoots back over the track. Take a look from a different angle here and you'll see just how big that oops was. He shoots across, back through, takes that runoff road back down to the other part of the track and rejoins, and then went to pit road, likely needed some repairs. And the leaders are on pit road. And good evening to the beautiful unicorn cheering on the Mark Nelson. Mark Nelson is in, Richie Joplin is in, Jeff Oakes is in. Daryl Klotz is gonna stay out. Most of these drivers, including Podgeter and Poole, are stopping one lap short of the halfway point. Will they have enough fuel? Mark Nelson completes his stop, comes back out ahead of Richie Joplin, has a 1.8 second gap. Daryl Klotzo out front for the first time tonight. And if you're waiting to get in on the HTSAI Community Convoy, folks, it is up and running. The unicorn will get you going. Daryl Klotz has now come to pit road. Jeff Oakes will cycle back into third, but Jeff surprisingly 21 and a half seconds behind Richie Joplin. Mark Nelson still has a 1 point, now a 2-second lead over Richie Joplin, starting to pull away just a little bit. Rod Podgeter has had a problem back behind. Rod coming up through the first few turns. Oh, just overshoots. And then has to slow down dramatically, likely had a slow down penalty there. Jeff Oakes back in third. Darrell Klotz now in fourth. Rod Podgeter still holding on to fifth. But Gerald Poole has closed in dramatically on Podgeter after pit stops. He is just 3.9 seconds behind. Kevin Bruner making his... Whoa, no! Bruner coming off the bottom of the hill, got a little squirrely, but gets it gathered up, not before losing seventh to points leader Tim St. Jean. Kevin Bruner holds eighth, Kevin Hayes back in ninth, Mike Burgess on pit road in 10th, and it looks like Derek Schilling is now out of the race, as Richie Joplin just set the fastest lap. Mark's lead still holding right at about 2 seconds. And now Albie Hewins is confirmed out of the race. So Derek Schilling, Gil Guac, and Albie Hewins out early. Mike Burgess still on pit road, has 10th. Rod Podgeter in 5th is now pulled away from Gerald Poole and caught up to Darrell Klotz. Rod Podgeter has just been quietly closing that gap little by little and gained a lot on pit road. Last time by, he was several seconds faster than Darrell Klotz, and it is showing as he sits on Klotz's bumper waiting for an opportunity to pass. Can Podgeter get the run to the inside? Not yet. Mark Nelson has extended his lead once again. It is now 2.8 seconds over Richie. And those two have just walked away. Third place, Jeff Oakes, is now almost 24 seconds back. Rod Podgeter lost a little bit of ground to Klotz that time by. But can Klotz hold him off? Podgeter already back to the bumper. And there we go. Podgeter has the run into the S's. Klotz able to hold him off. Podgeter definitely set up and made the right move there. Just needed a little bit more momentum. Darrell Klotz able to put the power down just a little bit more through the S's, but Podgeter right with him out of the horseshoe. Mark Nelson's lead about 2.5 seconds. Richie Joplin starting to pick the pace up just a little bit, trying to close the gap. Jeff Oakes kind of in a safe place at the moment. 20 seconds ahead of Darrell Klotz, 27 seconds behind Richie Joplin. Rod Podgeter runs really wide there. He trying to run right up. Podgeter trying to carry as much momentum as he could. Just overshot it. Gerald Thanos Poole still holds on to 6th. Tim St. Jean in 7th. Kevin Bruner in 8th. Kevin Hayes in 9th. Does not look like Mike Burgess will come back out tonight, but will still come home with the top 10. With 9 laps to go, it does look like the leaders will avoid any further lap traffic. It'll be clean air the rest of the night. Darrell Klotz just set his fastest lap of the night and has pulled a gap again on Podgeter. Now 3 seconds behind. Darrell Klotz also running that fast lap was 3 seconds faster than Jeff Oakes and closed down on him. However, with only 8 laps to go, actually at 3 seconds a lap, he could very well catch up to Jeff if he can maintain the pace. Meanwhile, Mark Nelson out front, maintaining a 2.7 to 3 second lead on Richie Joplin. Points leader Tim St. Jean, currently running in 7th, is going to have a great night here tonight. Kevin Bruner behind him at 8th. That'll give him a little breathing room going into the final 2 races of the season. However, Richie Joplin, currently running in 2nd, is going to close back up on him. In fact, it could very well be a situation with the drivers that aren't here tonight and the drivers that are running up front. We could see the points tighten up dramatically going into the final race. Gerald Poole for a bit was running down Rod Potgieter, but has since fallen back to about 10 seconds behind. Darrell Klotz has pulled away 5.5 seconds ahead of Potgieter. As they run right now without any dramatic mistakes, this is likely going to be the finishing order. Will definitely be another great race for Jeff Oakes, Mark Nelson, and especially Richie Joplin. Richie was not here for the first race of the season, so he started the season on the back foot and has still managed to pull up to 3rd in points and may take 2nd, as 2nd place Kevin Bruner is back in 8th as Richie runs in 2nd. Mark has started pulling away from Richie yet again. The gap now 4 seconds. Most of the drivers fairly well spread out at this point as Mark Nelson comes down to get 5 laps to go. Interesting note, the fastest lap of the night was driven by second place Richie Joplin, a 139.39. Mark Nelson's fastest lap, 139.46. They're also the only two drivers to get into the 139s. Jeff Oaks' fastest lap was a 140.73. Everybody else was 141, 142 and beyond. Kevin Hayes will also have a big points night tonight. He comes into the night 25th in points, having only done 2 races this season. But with the 9th place finish, he's going to pick up a lot of ground on a lot of drivers ahead of him. Likely will move into the top 20. Maybe even higher. Mark Nelson's lead now 5 seconds over Richie Joplin. It is now just a matter of Mark maintaining the car. And it does appear Richie has stopped pushing as hard. He is just trying to hold on to the car till the end, not overdo the brakes, the tires, and making sure he's got the fuel to go the distance. Jeff Oaks, another great race here tonight. Looking at another podium on a road course. But I have to admit, being extremely surprised after last week's win at Road America to not see Jeff up there battling with Richie and Mark. Hey, good evening, Kevin. Darrell Klotz has pulled away in 4th place. Now is an 8 1/4 second on Rod Pontgeter in 5th. Pontgeter has not slowed down either. His lead over Gerald Poole now to 12.4 seconds. Tim St. Jean back in 7th. Kevin Bruner in 8th. And Kevin Hayes in 9th. Into the horseshoe, the leader goes. This time by, they will signal 2 laps to go for the Mark Nelson. Starting to see quite a few cars slipping off track, going just a little bit wide. Gerald Poole, Kevin Hayes have both had issues in the last lap or so, as the track's starting to get greasy and the tires starting to get worn out. And Kevin Bruner is back on pit road. This is unexpected. Did he come up short on fuel? Are we about to see the remainder of the cars that pitted on lap 15 coming in to top off? Or have the top two been conserving? Well, I can tell you Richie Joplin is not conserving. Last time by, he was 3/4 of a second faster than Mark Nelson. The lead chopped down to 3.8 seconds. But here he comes. Barney waves white flag in the air one more time around for the Mark Nelson. And that time by, Richie Joplin, Mark Nelson's lap times almost identical. Jeff Oakes currently runs in third. Klotz back and forth. Poggeter in fifth. Gerald Poole in sixth. Hey, good evening, Russell. Don't forget, folks, moments after this race ends, the Unicorn will be leading the convoy exploring Nebraska. The new Nebraska ATS state released this morning. So make sure you come back and see that one. Into the horseshoe the final time. Powers it back out through the kink, and the Mark Nelson will pull off the win at Sonoma. Richie Joplin comes home in second. Huge points night for him. And Jeff Oakes coming home in third. Oh, Russell, that'd be awesome, buddy. Let's talk to our top two, starting with Richie. Richie, you gave him one heck of a run for his money tonight, buddy.
Yeah, I messed up too much on the pit stop after the pit stop. I had made some mistakes. I think I could have challenged him a little bit better on after the pit stop, but I messed up a few times and he just drove away.
Well, there was a point in the last 5 laps where in a single lap you gained almost 1.5 seconds in one lap, and man, it looked like you were trying to crank it up one last time.
Yeah, I liked the car longer it ran. I found out at the pit stop at the beginning of the race that I was no good at the start, but once I got about 6-7 laps, it started feeling good to me. And I just wished I had a little bit longer run. I might have got to him and gave him a run for his money there.
Well, you definitely did. Plus, it looks like you'll pull up to second in points, potentially challenging for the points lead with 2 races to go.
Well, I have to finish good the rest of the races they got left. Hopefully I can pull something out. I don't know. Maybe my luck will be good.
Well, I hope so, buddy. A great run tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm getting ready to go airborne.
Do it. And our winner, the Mark Nelson, as Richie Joplin, does the Sonoma jump for you, folks. Not bad. Ooh. Hey, that was actually fairly impressive. Mark, you finally bested Jeff Oakes on a road course. You have to be happy about that one.
Am I in heaven? I didn't think it was possible, honestly, but I think that the body was weak, but the mind was willing on this one, because that was a grueling race. I am absolutely exhausted.
Well, you still did a great job. You ended up with 1 point, a 5-second lead over Richie. The first half of that race, it looked like you guys would be battling to the checkers.
Yeah, he was keeping up with me pretty darn good, and he honestly, I thought he was going to get me. I was really starting to kind of lose the feeling in my leg, and I was like, "Oh man, this is going to be rough." But for some reason, I started getting physically able to continue, and I don't know if he was trying too hard after that pit stop to try to catch me, but yeah, I was actually giving up on myself already on that first run. I thought he was going to get me eventually.
Well, man, a great job. Just think, you get to go drive around Nebraska now.
Oh man, that'll be so much better than this. I'm tired.
Well, great job tonight, man. Congratulations, another win, a huge points night as well. After missing one race and a rough start to the season, you'll be back up in the top 10.
Yeah, I think so too. So, yeah, I'm just looking forward to the following weeks. These guys are good to race with, so I have a blast.
Well, man, great job. Congratulations.
Thanks, Doug.
Mark Nelson gets the win. Actually, his first win this season, his second pole of the season. He has 2 poles. This was his first win. What a season it has been. Don't forget to come back in just a few moments. The Unicorn will be live with some trucking. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope y'all had as much fun as we did. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and the YouTubes. We'll see you here in a bit. Have a great evening.